Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, well, the problem is when I press the button, I can't really tell when it's working or when it's not working. I mean, it's working clearly, but like whether or not it's actually, going, whether it started on YouTube's end, that's the problem. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I use this as a transition. Yeah, so that way it's not so awkward, right? Because I'm talking to myself inevitably, right? No one's actually, on the other end of this line. So I guess I could probably end the charade. Hello, Galaxy. That's right. I said charade, and I hope you are not bothered by that. I could have said charade. I'm good at charades. Not going to do those today. Thank you for tuning in for this broadcast. It's my hope, my expectation of being able to do something like this once a week, having kind of an open office hours. I don't really call this my office anymore, though. I mean, I used to call it a home office, because what else were you going to call it? And then I started calling it my play shop, because play shop sounds a hell of a lot more fun than workshop. Although people usually know it as a home office or a workshop. I haven't done a tour in a little over a year. I don't think I did one recently. Not that I think that anybody who subscribes for tech stuff would necessarily be interested in a lot of that. But I'm still pounding away at a virtual keyboard. That is definitely keeping me busy. Not a lot of earth-shattering news or announcements coming down the pike this week. I have, however, completed the camera comparison, or for the most part, the camera comparison between the iPhone 14 and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Kind of chomping at the bit for the next Samsung. Now, speaking of the next Samsung, another video that's going to be rolling out here soon was a clip, a question that I answered from a live stream. I like answering questions, so feel free to ask. Asking what I thought about the whole Samsung battery issue. So expect to get a full video response from me on that front. The TLDR version of it, the Locker Room Daily Report version of it, or the, too long didn't read version of it is I don't hold on to gadgets. I don't collect them. I walk by them every day when I thrift. It's a hobby of mine. A lot of people go scavenging for old tech, and I don't mean like vintage technology, like Commodore 64s and Atari 2600s. I mean, that is a different class of system. There have been times that I have walked past like Mac Classics and Mac SEs and booted them up, and then thought, oh, that'd be kind of neat. But then I thought again, like, well, where am I going to put it? Where's it going to go? How's it going to fit? And I don't really have a retro array of things. Heck, I'm still stuck with my my MAME cabinet. Remember the old arcade machine across the way? I need to get the VGA screen, the CRT. I still have one CRT. I need to get it replaced or fixed or addressed in some way, shape, or form. That is not something I want to do myself. Because there's one thing I have learned in just cursory research with repairing CRTs is that you've got to be careful. You can hurt yourself. So I know me, I'm not going to do that. I'll hire a professional, or at least attempt to find one here in the greater Seattle area. That person, though, I'm not sure who they will be. So expect coming down the pike talk about the Samsung battery issue. And the only other thing that I know that's kind of been like not eating away at me, but I did my little review of the Samsung Galaxy smartwatch, the Watch 5 Pro, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy enough, but I got to admit, I am interested in the Pixel Watch. As much as I'm not interested as much in the Pixel 7, though I will be getting a Pixel 7 Pro. I don't expect to use it for anything more than well, I can flip to the camera here. Give me a second, I'll show you. I think this will work. Yep. This is currently what I'm doing. I'm 3D printing a little gonk droid, and I've got the Pixel 6 Pro here. This is the camera that I'm using, it connected to the PC that I'm currently operating to broadcast this stream. The thing that keeps me from switching back to the Pixel isn't the camera. I mean, the camera I think would just be spectacular. I miss the camera, not necessarily most of the fluidity, and I say most because the Pixel unfortunately has lag to it now that the Samsung quite honestly doesn't. The Samsung device, the S22 Ultra, does have lag. There is pronounced lag. I went back and I flipped back to the old case that I was using to begin with because it's just a bit more svelte, a bit thinner. So I actually appreciate that lightweight factor with these. We used to call them phablets, right? The phone tablets. They're just now standard smartphones. But the lag that I've found on the S22 Ultra. Earl Green, good to see you. You2 Zero Scripts. Earl, how's it going? Are you still rocking a Sony smartphone? See, that's how I know I know you. To the point where I knew you used a Sony. I know you were using the Samsung tablets for longer than I have. You got the religion early, but honestly, I couldn't recommend a Samsung tablet strongly enough these days. Although, speaking of Pixel Watch, Pixel phone, suggestions are out there around the idea of there being like a Pixel tablet, which would be interesting. The thing, though, that keeps me... I mean, I know this sounds weird. On the watch, I'll be interested in seeing the reviews of the watch. I don't know if I'll buy one. I don't need a new one, depending on how the features stack up. But if it's more fluid, not that the Watch 5 Pro is any less fluid, but if it's more responsive, if it feels faster or whatever, no lag, whatever, I may flip to a Pixel Watch. It wouldn't take much for me to do something like that. The Pixel phone, though, as I was talking, is that my Pixel? This is my Pixel phone. I was like, wait, is that my Pixel phone? It's got too much lag. The 6 Pro, way too much lag. Way too much. And that's all on Google. That is all. It was never the case before, but that is all on Google. There's virtually no... There's speedy, zippy animations, but too much lag on the Pixel phone. And then the other thing that keeps me from switching back to the Pixel is that I cannot turn off the nav bar. I've complained about this for the longest time. Can't turn it off. So I'm interested in seeing what the 7 might have to offer, but I'm already telling you that unless they say, oh, and now you can turn off the nav bar, it's not an option. Less lag would be a boon. I would hope to see that, certainly with faster hardware coming down the pike. But the Pixel tablet I'm interested in, not because I'm not well served by Samsung DeX on my S8 Ultra Samsung tablet. Talked about that recently. But I also wonder if they're going to have the nav button on the Pixel tablet as well. It would seem odd to me. And the reason I don't like the nav button, and I've slagged it so many times, is okay, I guess I have to enter the PIN and then hit the button. There's so many software issues with this device that I can't seem to get around. What would be a good example to use? I know Chrome has this issue. So here's an example. Down below, you see that bottom there? Look at how the bar is separated from the rest of the content. See how it floats above all the content, and then there's that line, that horizontal rule. It doesn't look that way across everything at all. And so that bothers me. The wild inconsistencies between apps. That is enough to keep me, not using a device. That's a UI inconsistency. OnePlus allows you to turn it off. Samsung allows you to turn it off. Google, they could. There's nothing stopping them. I would go as far. I don't know if I could live with the lag, but it would go a long way to the usability of the Pixel. Because unfortunately, this is one area that I think Apple did well with their, I called it the turd bar, right? This little floating turd at the bottom that we can't seem to get rid of on the Pixel. At least there's consistency between the apps and it floats above the content. I'll give them that, rather than it's a whole horizontal rule. So if their Pixel tablet has that nav bar at the bottom that runs the full span of it, it's wasted space. It's pointless. And I understand that the way the Android operates with the nav area is different from iOS. That's one of the reasons why you're having the issue. And the app has to support background transparency and all that. And then it's down to the app developers. That just drives me nuts. That's something that could have been handled at the operating system level, or at least let me turn it off. If you hear notifications going wild, it's because we have a kid running around the house. Gabriel asks, is Diana going to receive the 6 Pro when you get the 7? Good question. I think so. The caveat, and this may be something that I've mentioned here, I know I have recently, the reason she wouldn't is because she's still on the Pixel 4 XL and has the unlimited photo and video upload to Google Photos. So as much as her photos and videos would be improved when she takes them, she would also have to prune. And that's not something that she does. And I don't want to have to keep after her. And the last thing I want to deal with is every month, accruing an extra gigabyte of storage because Diana didn't delete her photos, even with optimized storage or videos, right? It's not something that I want to manage. I said, no, you got to pick the best shot. You got to choose one, maybe two. Because she goes, and it has 74 shots, which is fine when you've got free storage. But when it's starting to count against the family plan, because then I got to look at upgrading storage. And right now, I feel we can, at least for the time being, get away with our current plan for the next, 5 years, maybe, until Jedi's of age, to be able to carry around her smartphone. She's not there yet. So yeah, I think the answer is yes. It is, the 6 Pro is definitely ready for her. And it says charging normally. Oh, look, I got notifications. Did y'all get notifications for the stream happening? Charging normally, I didn't need to see that. So I know it would be an upgrade for her in terms of speed. In terms of fluidity, honestly, I find that the 4XL, in using it on Diana's device, it seems to be snappier, right? Than the 6, which is just weird to me because the 6 allegedly is faster. So we'll see how the next chip stacks up. So here's an example too of the nav bar inconsistency on the Pixel. Do you see that at the bottom? I'm on the Amazon app right now, and do you see again? It's got that. There's a separator, a white separator above the buttons. Why does there have to be a separator? Why does there have to be a nav bar? There doesn't. That's the answer. I've looked for third-party workarounds. I've looked for things to modify. It doesn't exist. And I'm not going to root my device. That's the last thing I'm going to do. Last thing. Alfred E. Newman, been thinking a lot of jumping into the new Samsung flip phone. Need a smaller footprint when not in use and running around on the trails. Yeah, Alfred E. Newman. What? You worry? The flips. I'm pretty sure. Hang on. Did I? Oh, I didn't. I recorded a video, but it hasn't gone up yet in this channel. Flips and foldables being fads. Are they a fad? Certainly. I mean, it would be smaller, like this way, but it's still going to take up the same amount of space, just differently. That's up to you. I mean, the profile is going to be, whether it's like this or folded, it's the same mass, right? Depends largely on your use case. And honestly, if you don't need a flagship, so to speak, at least in terms of cameras, then a flip phone might work for you. I'd probably, if I had to choose between the two, if you said, Chris, you have to choose a flip or a foldable or a flippable, I'd flip you off. And then I'd say, fine, I'd go with a foldable. I'd go with like this. I'd go with this style. And the reason why is because more screen real estate, right? And more like, okay, my concern is the lack of software optimization. It'll get there. Android, the default stock Android apps are starting to move toward tablet optimized user experiences, which honestly, I don't think they've been that, unusable, at least in Samsung decks for a while. But hey, man, it's your phone. You choose what you want. Oh, you haven't used a Sony in years? You have an iPad Pro, keeping your eye out on Samsung tablets. Got a Samsung A32 as a backup. Always good to have a backup, Earl. Oh, you got an iPhone 12. Earl, I tell you, I'm really happy with, I mean, not that I've had a chance to use it as prolifically as others, but the Dynamic Island, I think, is absolutely worth the upgrade to the 14 Pro Max, or the 14 Pro. But performance-wise, camera-wise, although the RAW, I will say this about Apple's RAW photos. If I were carrying in an iPhone, and I'm not on a regular basis, right? Obviously I've got the 14 Pro Max. If I were carrying it, I would probably be shooting RAW exclusively. And the reason why is I can seem to get better quality images shooting RAW than I can just the point and shoot. And then I would have to then, go in and post and kind of clean things up. How can I explain it? Let's see here. See if I can give you an example. So I've got RAW turned off right now. I'm going to shoot across the desk, the way. Okay. I guess night sight or night mode toggled. Let me turn that off just in case. Okay, there's that real quick. Let me turn on RAW. Same shot. I could probably mute my phone. And, lag. Let's open up the Photos app. That one's RAW, this one's not. So this is the not RAW shot. This is the regular shot, and I feel like it's cartoonish. The Stormtrooper is cartoonish. Now, if this is truly the case, I shot in RAW, and now when I zoom in on the Stormtrooper, not cartoonish. And unfortunately, and I can even get closer, right? Because it's a super high resolution image. So I feel like it handles things a little better, not like amazingly better, but I feel like it handles it just a hair better. That's as close as I can get on the Stormtrooper there. But if I go pinch to zoom out, I get higher resolution shots. It just seems to be a hair better. Higher quality. So I'd rather have something large and back up that large image in JPEG than going with 12 megapixels. So I would consider shooting in RAW. I'd also have to upgrade to the 1 terabyte phone. You're surprised I'm not on Twitch? Słowensky, good to see you here. No, I'm on Twitch every night, 6 p.m. or so. And then what I've been wanting to do is talk tech here on the weekends, opening up the live stream for a brief while to see if there are any questions or any issues or discussion points anybody cares to bring up. Just, making myself available, trying it all in this new channel, not just stuck with I've been having fun with the shorts, admittedly. But, also recording the videos in a non-shorts or a non-live capacity, though recording them also live to tape. Funny enough, my Samsung got the October security update yesterday. And it wasn't even October yet. It was crazy. Like, what? DALL-E, by the way, is now open for everybody. If you're not aware, you may have used Midjourney, you may have used Crayon, but DALL-E 2 is now available for anybody. And I think you get, I want to say is it 50 the first month for free, and then 15 each subsequent month? I've been having fun trying to find which style I like. Digital art. I'll typically add like digital art to a scene because it makes it seem less AI generated. Or I'll do a style of art like, what did I do? Cubism. I did some Cubism Darth Vaders earlier. I've got like 3 phones sitting in front of me and trying to think which one I want to grab to show you. I was going to open up, I need to save this actually because I really liked how it turned out. This was a crayon prompt. This is crayon free, DALL-E Mini of what it's also known as, Cubism Darth Vader, right? And I thought it did a fantastic job. I'm like, whoa, dude! Like, if you need something real quick, right, quick and dirty, it's very abstract. That's something that I feel I could, you could pass that off as it was made. I mean, it was created, as opposed to some other, images. Now, this was from DALL-E 2. This was a DALL-E 2 prompt. Darth Vader eating cereal, or eating breakfast in front of a cereal box. Fars. Drink Fars milk. Your cereal will stay crunchy. So, I'm getting better at the prompts, specifically thinking what it is that I'm looking for. I'm addicted, I admit it. I don't yet have Stable Diffusion installed yet. There are a couple of Stable Diffusion clients for Mac OS, though, self-contained Stable Diffusion clients. I haven't done it yet, but I'm considering it because, like, I don't want to run into my ceiling on DALL-E. And of course, Crayon is also, it's been a lot of fun, but it's not the output's not always the same as what you might find on something like DALL-E. Fars is the best. Don't you agree? QA Bandaman, I'm still not even sure if I'm saying your name right. DALL-E's not available in a lot of countries. Yeah, Ahmed, you'd probably have to go with something like a Stable Diffusion, which I'd imagine you'd be able to use anywhere because it runs on the desktop, irrespective of any server. So that's the one thing that is probably I want to use it, but I know if I had it, I would use it. I would definitely be using my computer. I'd definitely be running it through its paces. There would be one reason to upgrade or to get a newer, faster computer for me, PC or Mac. It would be specifically to run something like Stable Diffusion. I don't know. I'm a fan. I know there was an argument, or has been an argument, as to whether or not this kind of I'm going to call it content, because quite honestly, that's what I feel it is. This is content, right? This is I generated that. Like, a computer generated it. I prompted it. So the computer may have done it, but I'm not the artist. Am I the artist? Right? Could I take any one of these and turn around and sell it as a digital print? I mean, I would look at that if I was like, at a coffee shop or whatever and saw this impressionist cubist Darth Vader up on the wall. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'd love to see that on a postcard or something. This is just, it's to me, it's wild how this really has taken off and is constantly being refined. I feel that it's unavoidable, and I know artists are going to push back, especially if their styles are copied. But this is where we're going. Facebook announced this week the ability, not for everybody yet, but to generate little brief video clips based upon a prompt. So I'm looking to refine my prompting. I'm looking kind of like, back in the day, Google Foo. Remember that? We used to say, you being able to search for something, it was kind of an art form. I think the same thing. Let me mute my phone. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's just going off left and right. Energy bill was really high this month. Oh, man. A little too high for my liking. I'm talking about using my computer more, and then what threw me off is I just saw my energy bill. I'm like, well, maybe I won't be. Maybe I'll be doing these virtual prompts. Unavoidable. The AI getting original art that can be used is a challenge. Like, especially if you don't know how to draw something or paint something or make something, and you just need a quick and dirty, like an abstract version or a digital art version of one thing or another. You could hire someone, and especially if they're good at what they do. But at what point does an AI generated image become not just as good as, but good enough. And that, I think, is what is most concerning, replacing the human, right? Which would potentially, I would argue, I would potentially see that as making a human-made digital art or human-made art even more valuable than it was in the first place, because it wasn't generated by a computer. It was generated by a human being. There's like an attachment to it. There's provenance. You know, it's like chasing an autograph. I mean, you can get a lithograph, and it's, you know, it's the signature, but it's not an actual like autograph from someone, like a physical autograph, because that, you know, implies that a human being was involved with the process. And as much as a human being might be involved with the process of prompting, it's the computer that does the work, versus the human that actually signs something, the human that actually makes something. It's their work. And I feel that could potentially drive up the value for artists, not the other way around. I've got art, you know, do I have any prints? I really don't hang up too many prints. Everything that I think we have hanging up has been painted, mostly by Justin Hillgrove, because I always loved his style. But it's original. Everything is original. I don't really hang up prints. That's why, you know, I did posters back in the day, you know, as a kid who didn't. Used Print Shop on the C64 to make little funny posters to hang on the wall. Who didn't? You ended up doing things like Darth Vader eating cookie, 4K high resolution digital art. Yeah, digital art I think is the one that I gotta remember. I haven't really fiddled with 4K or high resolution, but digital art I feel has the right kind of. Well, I'll put it to you this way: I saw someone post a photo of. An image of something they generated, but at first look, I couldn't have told you that was generated by a computer. I couldn't have. It looked like he had commissioned something or did it himself. That's a great, sorry for bumping the desk here, folks. That is a great parallel. 3D printing did not kill pottery. It didn't. I mean, there's something about, you know, making something with your hand. There's also something to be said about, you know, printing something. I got, you know, what's a print I got back here? Reaching back for the print. You know, I got a Dark Trooper, a red Dark Trooper. Where else can I get a red Dark Trooper? I could not make this. I could not wait for a company to make it. But I can print one out quickly and easily, and then have a figure that I could collect or give to a kid. That's the next thing I got to do, actually. I've got to print. I'm going to print in this filament. It's a UV reactive filament, a Boba Fett. There's a kid who's having a birthday, and he likes Boba Fett, so I'm going to do a Boba Fett in that color, you know, a color that you could otherwise not get. Does that replace? Does a Boba Fett figure in this filament replace this high quality Boba Fett figure with accessories and everything? No, this does not replace this, nor will it. It can't. Not in my mind, right? So yeah, I think there's a good parallel to be drawn there with AI art, AI drawings. I'm having a blast. I mean, I love experimenting with that stuff. I love it. So that's where I've been hesitant to get Stable Diffusion. I don't even know how long it would take to run on my computer. Because I know in the cloud, it takes a few minutes. I'm like, well, could I wait that long? Yes, I could wait that long. But then I get a chance to kind of experiment with the prompting. Google is doing something like DALL-E, maybe not like, you know, public access, but I think you're going to see a flood of companies starting to do something like that. You know, where they're allowing you to generate imagery and prompts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then Adobe is going to acquire all of them. We'll buy that one. We'll buy that one. We'll buy that one. But that's all the more reason for open source, right? You know, Stable Diffusion, ruling the roost. Ahmed notes, it's more of a quality versus quantity, AI for quantity and speed, human for quality and value. So I would disagree for quality and value. That's where I'm saying it's good enough. That cubist, this cubist interpretation of Darth Vader was just spectacular. Now this, my Darth Vader eating breakfast in front of a cereal box. He was so hungry he had 2 bowls with his bantha milk, blue milk, right? This was not perfect. Now, this was a DALL-E 2 prompt. I'm not in Midjourney anymore because honestly, I mean, as much as I could pay for this stuff, I'm like, I'm still too much of a hobbyist. This was different prompt, but this to me, this was value and this was quality. Absolutely. Like in terms of a spot on, perfect representation of Darth Vader, yeah, it's going to take a while. I feel we're still in that dream space, where we can see enough of what it is, and then our mind fills in the gaps. That's going to get tuned. Increasingly going to get tuned. Saying about Jedi getting a phone to carry around in the future, which phone would you use from a parent's point of view? Safest online experience, tools to lock down. Well, we've done Android and iOS. I like iOS a lot for a kid, but I feel that Android is a little more easy to manage than iOS was. I felt like, and that's improved with the screen time, remote, tools, and the parent management of the systems. Where you could say what a kid could and could not do. The problem is that it was always seemingly contingent on carrying an iPhone. Versus, and if I'm not carrying an iPhone and I'm not in front of the Mac, I can't control her experience. I don't get the notifications or anything like that. So, between the two, I'd probably choose Android again. Despite us having both iOS and Android in this house, we're probably closer we're more sewn into the general Android experience. Or the non-iPhone, the non-iOS experience. I wouldn't say that either one is more safe. They're equally as safe. Depends on how you set them up. And the granular nature of either one of them. I felt like I had a bit more control or a better understanding using the Google Family service when she was carrying around, I think she had an LG V30 right now. Dropping in my drawer of tricks. Right now, if she's using a phone, she's got an iPad. But I've got an old OnePlus here, and it works fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it is what it is, and I don't need to. I can manage it locally. I can manage it somewhat remotely. I feel, for the most part, I had a better time managing it with Android. You love how I print things for Jedi's class? Yeah, I'm not printing anything right now overnight on MakerDeck, though. I printed... Do I have it? No, I don't. I took them downstairs. I printed some sugar skulls because I thought Jedi could take them into her teachers to decorate for Dia de los Muertos. But I'm not going to print those for the entire class because she's got... It's a dual language class, so there's like split classrooms with like 20 in each. So it's like I'd have to print 40 of anything. So doing that, because the skulls have to, in order to get them, painted and accurate, you'd really, really, really have to print them larger, and it would take a while and a lot of filament. The LG G4. Yeah, I'm also disappointed LG got out of the smartphone business. I'm disappointed though that they never really grokked the software experience as much as I felt they should have. But right now, we don't have much that we can. What are the Samsung, OnePlus, nothing? There's Motorola, Sony. It's we're missing competition. And I feel that pinch every year. I wish we had more competition, specifically with software. Can't imagine how it is for Jedi and her generation of kids with dads and moms that recorded their life on YouTube. Jedi loves it. She likes watching it. She likes watching the blogs. That's one of the reasons why I continue to do it. I mean, off and on, but, you know, I feel we have a cadence now where I'm able to record little video, not too much, because when she's at school, I can't record much. This week was a very slow week. That's my biggest fear, is that there's just, it's too slow. But I compiled the footage. It should be ready to go. Nothing was recorded today. I don't want to record anything with her friends, at least with her friends' faces involved, because, again, permission. Yeah. But she loves it. And honestly, I'm glad that she can go years from now, go back and see what life was like. She wonders, you know, well, why, you know, Daddy, why were you always happier, you know, back in the blogs? I'm like, well, it was a different era. I was happier. I'll admit it. I was much happier. I was happier 10 years ago than I am today. I mean, and that's not to say that there aren't aspects of my life that I'm not happy about. I mean, there are many things to be happy about, but I know where I was then and I know where I am now. I can tell you I'm healthier now than I was back then. But when you start coming close to the door of 50, it's like, wow, next year I get to apply for an AARP card, and I will, even though retirement's still a ways off, because I need my discounts. Love me my discounts. The new Sony is supposed to be very nice. Is it, Layla? I got to see about getting a review unit. I got to get tied into that. Sony, did I write that down? I've got like an ongoing list of notes for myself. Oh, I do have Sony. Xiaomi, Huawei, Nothing, Motorola, Sony, Asus, and Google, to see about getting into the review unit cycle. Because I can't buy everything. One day we'll be able to feed your YouTube library to $E4 and a whole new vlog will be... You know what? Don't be surprised. It'd be weird, but it could happen. You look better than some guys you know in your 30s. You know, I try to take care of myself, for sure. Hello, Devin. My question is, if you were able to refresh iOS, what would be your focus and big changes? Devin, I would reinvent the language. I would go to neomorphism, which is not flat. Clearly not flat. Definitely not skeuomorphism. I don't think we're skating back to that territory. I think that ship has sailed. But giving depth to options on our screens, adding depth to these flat screens, neomorphism would afford that, because I think the idea of flat, it doesn't do it for me. Give me something with depth. Make me feel like I'm like, just give it depth. And I feel that if done right and done well, now here's my thinking, right? Apple is allegedly, I'm glad you brought this up. This is a good question. Apple has been suggested to be working on, you know, glasses, like mixed reality, AR, hopefully not VR. I'm just not a VR guy. I get motion. I don't believe in technology that makes me sick. Sorry, y'all. I mean, I believe in it, but like, it doesn't work. So if they are able to produce an AR / mixed reality kind of glassware for the face, will it be these clunky goggles? That's not very Apple-esque, right? Or will it be more like prescription lenses with this addition of, you know, screens that are... I think that's coming. I think it's a matter of time from one company or another. I mean, I've had glasses, prescription lenses with like floating clocks and floating weather. That's really cool. It's wild, but it's not what it needs to be yet. Not for mass adoption, not for consumption, like, you know, consumption from, you know, the average consumer. Google Glass was even, you know, far off from what it needed to be. But depth. So if there was a time for Apple to reinvent what iOS is, and to a certain degree macOS, adding depth to these flat screens. And I've long said that, right? I would, and I've said this before, been public about it, as much as I carry Android, really like the Samsung device for a lot of different reasons. If Apple released glasses, eyeglasses, and I could get the prescription because I wear progressives, and it had whatever going on, that type of experience and wearing that would probably have me moving back to the Apple ecosystem, despite all the shortcomings. But I would also hope that, again, those glasses, you're in this space, right? You're in this world, and everything here is three-dimensional. It makes sense that if Apple were to have this augmented reality, you look over there and you can see this and you can see that, and you go, a name pops up, or this happens, or this. It makes sense to effectively translate that depth in this experience to a depth in, where's my phone? I say, where's my phone? I'm in front of 4 now. In front of this, right? Having the depth. Not that I'm just interacting with a flat screen, but there's depth to it. And so that would be the first thing I'd change. That would be the absolute first thing. And then that would translate. That would proliferate, right? It would go, from the phone to the watch. And with that new experience, theoretically, you would also get new transitions, animations, fluidity. What happened? An assistant fired, but I don't know. Was that Siri? An assistant fired. Weird. So yeah, that would be my my refresh, and make it snappy, fluid. Make it make sense. Clean it up. The apps would evolve over time, right? But like that would have me, if it performed well. Again, if the slop disappeared, if it became a cohesive, experience, I would be bowled over. I'd be like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. And I wouldn't drop Android right away, but it would be a compelling argument. It really would, despite all the other shortcomings, because you're always going to have shortcomings, always. But that's what I would do. Not that I'm in charge there. I'm not a product manager there. Nor is the current CEO a product manager. So you're not going to see it anytime soon. Sony supposedly really focuses on the camera roll. I'd hope so. That's another reason why I'd love to try it. But I'm not willing to spend untold money. Although I have thought about this. I do still have my Patreon account. The Patreon account is up. We don't have monetization turned on in this channel because I haven't reached the number of hours. You have to watch more of the videos I post to this channel, because I got to get to like 4,000 viewer hours in order to turn on monetization, but then turning on memberships. And what I thought about is, with memberships or with Patreon, that money applying to new flagships that are released that I could buy, right? Because otherwise I can't justify spending $1,000 on a phone that, quite honestly, is not going to get used. I mean, I even spent way too much time doing the camera comparison between the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. It ended up being like a half hour long, and I don't think a lot of people watched it, despite being subscribed. It's just not, it's a longer type of video. And so I'd rather go in depth with something than just kind of skate along the top, but that's more of my style. What do you think of this whole keto diet? I have no idea. I'm vegan, so I cannot speak to keto. And by the way, my blood loves me. I still eat junk food all the time. But I am vegan and happy and healthy. I don't, it's like, well, Chris, you look like you need to eat food. You have no idea how much I eat. I eat a lot. I eat more than I need to. Ahmed notes, my problem with Android companies is that it always feels like they don't take it seriously, don't care enough about optimization or originality. Well, then you're not looking at Samsung. Samsung, I feel, has done a better job with their experience than Apple. Despite me not loving everything that Samsung does, like they've got integrations that I'm just like, I really don't, why did they do it this way? Why do I need this? Why did they do that? But you can mitigate it. So Ahmed, Samsung, I feel, has cared about optimization. I really do. I also feel they've cared about originality. Let me show you something. So, people write Samsung off, right? Or they say, well, I've got Google Photos. Why do I need Gallery? Well, let me show you. If I open up, what would be a good example here? Those are videos. What would be a good one to use? Do I have... I do. I've got this one of Jedi. So I've got this photo of Jedi, right? So I can go in and I can remaster the picture. So I can make it super high quality, right? Copy to the clipboard naturally. I can change the background effect of this photo dynamically. So like this is a photo that I took. I could have taken it on the iPhone, and it's the same thing, right? So like this is the layer, this is the level of software quality control, like that I feel that Samsung brings. There's a nice little zoom effect. that Samsung brings to the table, right? That's before editing the image. And if I edit the image, if I go into edit, I can go in and, you know, add stickers and all that text and all that stuff. That's normal. Different filters. There's a spot color effect. A lot of features, you know, maybe in Google Photos as well. But they add different things: object eraser, face effects, style. I mean, there's just neat things that you can do in other areas of Samsung's ecosystem that most people just kind of gloss over, thinking, oh, it's just a duplicate thing. Sorry, that was a quick, oh, look, I can do this, I can do that. If Samsung didn't care about its experience, it wouldn't go that far. And that's just, you know, tip of the iceberg on one app. They've added certain features and functionality to other apps that may serve people well. Some of them, the features they add are useless to me, but they've optimized. I feel that they've optimized and continue to optimize. The Samsung S22 Galaxy S22 Ultra is by far the most fluid, cleanest Android experience I feel you can get today. Samsung's Android experience is the cleanest, most fluid you can get today, in my experience. Very well-rounded. Anish says, been watching your videos for the past 12 years. Oh, Anish, well, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you watch all of the videos. Seriously, it helps. The algorithm loves it when you watch the videos. The algorithm hates it if you miss a video, and you've probably missed a few. But I've been uploading fun little shorts. I know they're really stupid, but I'm trying to make them fun. There are a couple that I could only do on TikTok though, because it was like I remixed the audio of some people. Like this. Here's a funny one. I thought it was funny here. Let me turn up the volume. I turned on Do Not Disturb. Hang on, just a second. You're gonna love this.
Why do you starve me? Mom, my belly is rumbling. I hunger, Mother. I hunger. Why do you starve me? Mom.
It's a battery that's dying. Like, so I remixed it, but the battery was dying. And like, why do you starve me? There's another one though, but it drops a swear word. It's a funny one. I think it's funny. So I'm watching TikTok and going, oh, that'd be a fun little video. Like, did y'all see the short, the YouTube short that I posted, the getting the gadget thing? Like,
don't blame me if they're sold out because we didn't get in line soon enough. We gotta go right now if we want to get the new gadget. Okay, let me get ready. Okay, honey, done. Why is it dark outside? Oh, don't be so dramatic. This is all your fault. Don't blame me if they're sold out.
So, I gotta get in line to get a new gadget. I just thought I'd do a gag. Yeah, Earl, and I appreciate your support. Ahmed, I have not looked so close at the Sony UI for years. Sorry if I'm trying to get through comments as much as I can. Why don't you follow other tech reviewers? Yeah, but that's not me. Why would I do something somebody else does? That's not me. Why would you live your life like you were somebody else? That doesn't make any sense. That'd be like me using an iPhone because you use an iPhone. I can't do that. I'm old enough to tell you that I am who I am. Either take it or leave it. Am I going to strive to improve? Absolutely. 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 It's not a popularity contest for me. I got to play to my strengths, and I got to enjoy it. So it is what it is. But the last thing you want to do, Anish, this is some life advice from me to you. Don't be somebody else. Don't. Be yourself. Don't do it like everybody else. Do it like you. Period. Because it may be a longer, slower burn, but you'll be happier. You know, if you want to spend your life trying to be somebody else, knock yourself out. But I'm telling you, the older I get, the happier I am when I'm able to be myself. Some of the saddest parts of my life have come because I tried to be like other people. Or I tried to fit in. Or I try to do it like other people do it. It doesn't work. I mean, it might work, for you, but it doesn't work for me. The Intel ARC's looking good. I don't disagree. I am biased. I am Intel. That's the hashtag we got to use for disclosure statements. It is, and I'm very glad that, and I've said this before, more competition makes the entire array of options better, right? It just keeps everybody on their toes. So I'm all about that. Oh, you love the photo comparisons videos? Oh, thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. Thank you. I do my best, though it's not perfect. I could probably do a better job. QA Bandaman says, I'd love to see if this channel pops off. Theory is your old channel is just too old for the algorithm is interesting. It is a mix. It really is. I feel, though, for this channel to take off, I mean, I got to stick to my style. I got to do it my way because I don't have the bandwidth or necessarily the interest to chase whatever the, other people do. But I'll talk about topics. Like, there are topics that I've got in the queue to be uploaded. Things that I would, like yesterday it was, someone asked a question about Stadia, so I talked about that, right? Or the Samsung battery issue, which is a video that may be uploaded tomorrow, if not tomorrow, then Monday. Like, I just love to talk about that stuff, but not the same way that other people might. I love doing live video, so I can accommodate that. Sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I can do a little short video, something that's not worth spending a ton of time on, like a little tip, right, that I find. And those could be helpful. So it's a smattering. I'm not sure what's going to work, honestly. So Ahmed, the Samsung battery swap trend. I don't know if I'd say it's a trend. The spoiler alert, because I did shoot something that will be uploaded to the channel here soon. It was the only experience I ever had was with 2 Apple devices. Those are the only known battery swaps. But mind you, when I am done with, see here, well, any of these devices, right? When I'm done with the S22 Ultra, it's going back, right? As soon as I get the S23 Ultra, the S22 is going back. When I get the next Pixel, right? The Pixel 4 XL is going away. Diana's getting this one. I'm getting the new one. When I already sent back my 13 Pro Max. So when the 15 Pro Max comes out, the 14 Pro Max is going to disappear. The One Plus, I'm not necessarily going to replace. This is just kind of like a knockaround device. So. Oh, yeah. No, I've been around QA Bandaman. Oh, thank you, Eric. Here's the thing. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you I'm not giving you advice. I'm not telling you what to do. You got to make up your own mind. I'm just telling you what it's been like. I feel like too many people try to be like other people. And maybe in the beginning when they don't know themselves and they haven't found their own voice, it's fine. Don't get me wrong. I feel that on a trajectory, there is a possibility for me to be me, but to basically grow a team and have someone who can help me complement that skill set and take what would otherwise be a half-hour video and condense it into a boom, 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 5-minute video, 10-minute video, right? Make it boom, 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 poppy, punchy. I do a lot of self-editing, but live video is where I am. So, like, if you want to know where I am mentally, I'd rather do live video all day. Like, if I could do this live video like this every day, I would. But right now, I don't think I could do a live tech video every day on YouTube. I don't think enough people would tune in. Once a week, it's a possibility, something to look forward to. Every day, I just don't think that is practical, especially for a new channel. I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. If you'd want to see that, I would. But people just don't have a lot of time for live video anymore, as much as they used to, right? As much as I love. Thank you for the iOS answer. Oh, no problem, Devin. And thank you, QA Bandaman. If only for not correcting me on your pronunciation for your handle. With Google's event coming up, what do you think Google needs to do to be more competitive in the smartphone world? They don't care. I mean, I really don't think they care. I mean, they care, but Google's not Samsung, right? Google doesn't make its money on these devices. I mean, they make money, right? But they're always kind of like, not reference designs, but if you will, yeah, like the Pixel ecosystem hasn't really been an ecosystem. And I feel that if they release a tablet and a watch at this upcoming event, they're closer to being an ecosystem. I've been very, very happy with the Google TV software experience. Very happy. Like if you've never used a Google TV and you've only used an Apple TV, you have no idea what you're missing. Apple TV it ain't what it needs to be. Maybe back in the day it was what it needed to be, but an Apple TV experience is nothing compared to a Google TV experience. Nothing. And I mind you, never dove into a Roku, so I haven't gone down that path, that rabbit hole. But Google's getting better at making that experience work. And I feel that to be more competitive, they need to sell themselves more as you can have the experience of a tablet and a phone and a watch and a TV. And they're getting there. They're getting there. Not quite there yet, but they are getting there. So to be more competitive, they have to nail the experience enough to, that you could live in it, right? You can operate in it seamlessly. Feels like tech companies are going to hibernation mode due to economic instability. Well, I can't speak to the stresses and strains of C-level executives, but the worst time I feel to pull back on big ideas is when you need big ideas most. Like there's like, well, let's just double down on what works, stay away from the risky stuff. Man, when you take those risks, when you put yourself out there, that's when amazing things can happen. Or enough to stay ahead of something, right? Not playing it conservative. But, I don't have to make those decisions necessarily. Well, YouTube is definitely a different place than Twitch, for sure. I have fun on Twitch, but for different reasons. In a similar way, I talk, chat. Yeah, it's a different space, Earl. The amount of content out there is there's a lot of it. So I appreciate everybody watching when you do, tuning in when you do, liking, sharing if you're so inclined. I intend on still doing a live video once a week here. I don't know if this is going to be the best time for it, but at least I can say I did it and I'm trying. And I'd rather sit there and spend an hour trying to do something than sit there for an hour thinking about doing something, right? Because at the end of the day, well, I tried, and no one can say I didn't try. It's just there's more food for thought. There's more wisdom for you. Spend an hour doing something rather than spending an hour thinking about doing something. Because at the end of the hour, what are you going to have? Apart from more decaf espresso. Not my favorite decaf espresso, Starbucks. But my favorite coffee shop was busy today because we've got a local event going on. What are the future plans for the channel, Anish? I'd say continuing the way that I'm doing it right now for the time being. As it grows and I find what works for people, what works for me, I would like to be able to go the direction of answering more questions. I would love to go the direction of figuring out how to package it better. So optimize it better and learning how to do that. That is, thumbnails are a big deal. Thumbnails are a huge deal. So I totally understand that. Being relevant, staying on top of topics. So I know how to do that. But to me, the biggest one, staying in news cycles is important. Any ideas to create a team? Oh, I would love to create a team, but to create a team takes revenue. To get revenue, you have to bring it in order to bring it in. So in many ways, I'm starting from scratch again, Anish, with this. And so I appreciate the patience, the latitude, the feedback, the direction, and the support, for sure. I've been talking for about an hour now, and that's usually around the time that I feel is good for a tech podcast, a talkcast, whatever you want to call us, hanging out with you for an hour live on YouTube. I am live on Twitch every day, because Twitch is a live platform, but I'm here. I'll be here for you live once a week. Turn on notifications, slap the bell. Thank you for watching the videos that have been uploaded. I'm trying to stay into regular schedule with uploading and time and everything. Thank you for watching the shorts. They're very TikTok-esque. Sometimes I promote them cross-platform. Some of them they're only TikTok because you remix the audio on the platform. But I think they're funny. My sense of humor is really warped, though, so thank you for keeping up with me. I love you. I appreciate you, and at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always. Collabs? Certainly. I'd be down for collabs. Who I'd collab with? Well, I did a couple of collabs a while ago with a couple of other tech YouTubers. And may have to do that again at some point in the future. I don't know about what. I'll have to figure out what the angle would be, but it would be a lot of fun. I will think about what that might look like and then make it happen, because I'd rather do it than talk about doing it. All right, everybody, here we go. I'm gonna do it. Y'all want me to sign off this way? Here we go.